Welcome, boys and girls. It's a full show. Today I'm going over everything that I didn't get to all week. Stuff that popped up. Though I know they're going to give me more reason to go and, skip right over this and go to other things again. For the most part, because, well, that's the way it's been going since the administration took over. But first, let's go off with President Biden and his, interview with Stephanopoulos over on ABC, where he called Putin a killer and, pretty much threatened him. I mean, he'll pay. And Putin turns around, challenges him to a debate immediately. What? I'll get you. Try me. Draw, because, do we really, didn't everyone say that, Donald Trump is pissing off the whole world and that all these tensions are his fault? And how come, the Russia thing was, Putin wasn't saying, let's debate it because we're threatening to, destroy him. Because everyone's calling Biden's bluff. Just like North Korea and the tensions, Iranians and their tensions. North Korea, Donald Trump met Kim Jong-un and got the leader of South Korea and them to meet at the DLZ. Peace, anything in the Middle East with a bunch of countries, whatever you want to call them. And those people in the same room, shaking hands, agreeing to something. How long they've been going after one another? Do you know how big of a deal that is, to do all of that? And yet here we are now. North Korea's pissed. The Iranians are pissed. Putin's offering him, let's debate now, immediately. Well, I don't want to waste time. Let's go. After you're talking trash to him, that's how you get us into bad conflicts. I'll go and call someone a killer, murder, this, that, and the other thing, and say that, you're going to get them. And they'll have hell to pay. It's not really a good thing when you're trying to, not start a giant war. And we all know, at least us honest ones, that Biden were to debate Putin live for the world to see. Without any preparation, that would just, bad things would happen. And we'd look even worse. Which is scary when you think about it. But it is what it is. And another scary thing is the situation, at the southern border where the Mexican president is even calling Joe Biden the migrant president. And now they're planning to deploy security forces to their borders down there, to stop the flow of people into Mexico because of the crisis that Joe Biden has started. Everyone else is calling it a crisis. I don't know why they can't just do it. Your words are what did this. They're higher than they were last year by a mile. That's the worst we've seen in 20 years, they say. And that's just the people they're catching. Think about all the ones they're not catching. Because if there's this many people that they're catching in all these places, they're not getting them all. When it gets to the point where Mexican president is calling you the migrant president and sending, security forces to the border to stop to slow the flow of people coming illegally into their country, because, you're not a country if you can't maintain your borders. That's a problem. That's a very big, huge problem. Sorry, protein. After the workout. You're wondering what that is. But that's a big problem. They're calling it a crisis. They're saying it's erupted because of Biden. And they have no reason to lie to anything. What political gain do they have? They go, piss off Joe Biden us. They're mad because he said that, and then how many people are just illegally barreling through their country? If they're sending all these forces, why are we just letting everyone in? See you later, bye. It's just terrifyingly disgusting how it's being handled. When our neighbors are saying that it's a crisis and it's affecting them. I don't know why the American people can't understand that, and you're probably onto something there. I just don't get it. How hard is it? It's not that hard, being 100% blunt and honest. It's not that hard at all. At all. So, I don't know what you want me to tell you, but If they're deploying forces, they're calling Joe Biden the migrant president, and they're throwing that there's now a crisis at their borders because of what Biden's done, and telling all these people, come, what, we're going to let everyone in, refugees, whatever. Like, it's causing problems for everyone, which is going to hurt our relationships, even though I swear to God he said that his big goal was, rebuild all of these relationships that President Trump destroyed with our allies. And here you are pissing off our closest neighbor. And them in Canada, they only got two bordering us, and screwed over the one with the whole pipeline thing and all that, and now you're screwing over the other because so many people are flocking to our country that they're just barreling through Mexico unabated. Because how are you going to stop that many people? That's a real question. Very real question. I don't get it. I don't know what the hell is wrong with you people that think that this is normal and this is okay. Because guess what, boys and girls, ladies and gents, whatever you want to be called, it's not normal. It's not good. And it's very, very, very bad. Especially, let's throw, pandemic on top of it. So it's a humanitarian, a national security, and a health crisis. Let's just go and throw a whole entire book at one situation of what kind of crisis this is. It's everything. Everything, everything, everything. Numbers don't lie. Actually look some stuff up. You'll feel better afterwards. Talking about feeling better, figured I'd throw this one in here after two stupid things. That Kansas, the state Senate, passed a bill banning transgender girls from playing on female sports teams, aka the biological men side of it. Whenever I got into this a lot, I don't need to get into it, a lot, I guess is the right word, but they're biologically men. They shouldn't be playing in women's sports. There's a reason why, look at all the weight difference between, men and women in, powerlifting and, or track. Look at the times and speed. The biological difference between the two gives men an astronomical advantage in female sports. And it really just kills female sports. And if they're really trying to be the shining star for females in their sports and, all these things, the women's rights and all, why the hell are they letting men play in their sports? Because all that does is actually hurt them a lot. It makes things really, 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 puts them at a severe disadvantage, in my opinion. That's just, I just don't get it. I don't at all. I could be the bad guy, but again, track records like that between men and women, we got tenths on them. So I just don't get it. Mississippi's up in there, done something about it. There's a bunch of states that have. I don't get why, how it's that, how bad of a society are we that we physically got to the point where states now have to pass stuff like this. This should just be common sense, as they say, follow the science. Well, the science says this is a catastrophically dense idea. To have let them play on female teams when they're biologically men, so they have all the advantages to that. You shouldn't need to even have to hear me say it for you to understand and comprehend that. Not me being mean, it's just me following the science. Telling you exactly how it actually is, because, my brain works. I guess that's a detriment nowadays, but yeah, good on Kansas, and again, I think Mississippi's in there. There are a bunch of states that have been doing it and are working on it currently, and for the sanctity of female sports and all that, I think it's a necessity. It has to get done. Can't not do it, as the Fed's making it impossible for females to even have female sports, even though they're supposed to be all empowering women and doing all that. Make them equal, as they say, because they're not equal. Then why are you letting men play in their sports? Why that just pushes them farther back so they can set the records that women can never attain. I think it's just stupid. Just as stupid as the Washington Post, who has now outed their source, their anonymous source, on the whole Trump Attorney General call. So much for that. That's how much hell they've gotten for this one. Because the whole world's pissed off now. They've done a real good job at making it that way. It's getting real bad when the Washington Post is now outing their anonymous source. I'm okay with that. I mean, but it's a good idea when you hear stuff from them, actually, like, look it up. Do your job. Don't use their words in a way that you don't want them to be used because they called them out and then I can't pronounce her last name, so I'm not even going to try. I thought, no, I'll do it wrong. But saying that they weren't supposed to use it as verbatim in the exact, like, word for word what Donald Trump said to the Attorney General down there. That it was just supposed to be used as her interpretation. And that they knew that. But then they went and used it as verbatim. Which now put everyone in the situation that they're in now because no one actually did their job for years and years to actually see if any of this happened. They just jumped right on it. It just got us where we are in the first place. Because, yeah, why would a journalist actually, I don't know, do their job? Yeah, no, let's just hear it, run with it. And then the next thing we hear from an anonymous source, we'll just go and switch to that. And then weeks later, down the road, days, weeks, whatever it is, they just go and edit the story online. Don't say anything about it. No one even notices. And that's not journalism. That's just shooting propaganda and falsehoods and garbage. And you should be held accountable more for doing garbage things like that. Sorry. Like the world's a better place when people actually just, when people in journalism, investigative journalists actually like did their damn job and investigated and made sure stuff was right instead of just hearing one claim from a random person and just running with it and spinning it to the worst things possible. Just like the bleach thing. Donald Trump said to drink and inject bleach on the. Like actually, he said if we could find what way to do what bleach does on the outside of disinfecting, we could find a way to do that through science and medicine inside the body. That'd be great. And they all ran on. He said to drink bleach and inject it into your body, and they're still running on it. And then if you even look at their websites, though, their own, click it in. Did he say this? Like, all of the liberal, like MSNBC, CNN, all the fact checkers come in. No, he didn't directly say that. Guess what? Because he didn't. And anyone that actually listened to the whole thing and not just clips from, like, the mainstream media knows he didn't. But hell, they went and ran with it because that's all they, and what? They changed it, they fact checked it, but they already moved on to something else. And no one went, whatever came of that? And they don't say, well, we are wrong, ever. They just go in there, they quietly edit it, put their fact checks up there because they know if they spread what they needed to and they moved on to the next thing and people are just, oh no, now this. Like, that's not journalism. Sorry. And we need another example of the shootings. The other night in Atlanta, they left 8 people dead. Immediately, without any investigation, talking to family, friends, the shooter, anyone, they immediately go to, it had to be racism because they were Asian, and it's all Donald Trump's fault. Like Joy Reid, immediately, all of them went there because there's xenophobia spread and all this. Like, never mind the guy, his friends, and his family. His family kicked him out for having problems, his parents did. Everyone said he's addicted to porn. He went to those places to look for a happy ending. Like there's stuff slowly coming out that had nothing to do with, like he frequented these places. Like it had nothing to do with, they found nothing on it yet because they just started. But immediately, within 10 seconds, it all went straight to xenophobia and racism on the president's part. And that's why this is happening. Because even when he's out of office, everything's still his fault. And they immediately went for it and everyone's okay with it. You shouldn't be okay with it. Like, when they're lying that bad, you should hold them accountable. Like, I'm sorry, but there's no investigation that's been done, just like they did with the Capitol riot. But it's all white supremacists and an armed insurrection, and, it was all Trump's speech. One, they knew about it beforehand, so the media was wrong there. The Democrats tried to impeach him anyway, even though they knew he was wrong. White supremacist, I'm pretty sure, this was last week, at some point I heard that there might have been nine arrests. People that were associated with white supremacy at all. 9. Out of the several hundred, I'm sure thousands they're going to end up making when it's all said and done. 9. So there goes that argument. Were there probably more there? Yeah, but the several hundred, there's 9. There's not even 1% of the people, that got arrested. I'm sorry, but that, not white supremacy. And out of all the people there that were doing all that, not a single person got arrested for guns or any of that. So how could it be an armed insurrection trying to throw over the government when no one was like white supremacists? No, armed with all these things, no guns. Everyone had guns. I'm like, well, no one had any guns. No one's been arrested with any guns. So there's another lie. But guess what? They just moved on to the next thing because that's all they do. And you people just. No, when I say you people, I don't mean you people that have brains that listen to this. I mean you people. Like, oh, well, he did do that. And then move on to something else 3 seconds later. Who cares? Like, I hate to break it to you. If any of that stuff is actually true, there would have been something done about it. They would have just moved on to another story 3 seconds later. But that's what they do. It's all then people have let them get away with it. But yeah, between the Washington Post and then again the mainstream media, really. I mean, all the news media that went straight to the shootings were because of race, and the guy was a crazy racist. Nicholas Sandman all those years ago, and the Indian gentleman is the one that got in his face and antagonized him and started it all, which is why he won all kinds of lawsuits for slander and defamation because they just jumped right on it without looking into anything, just to spew their garbage and their hate. And there's many examples of it. I mean, I could keep going all day. Hell, maybe one day next week I'll just do a whole entire show on nothing but all their garbage that they've gotten wrong. I guarantee I could fit a whole entire week. Week plus of just all the things that they've gotten wrong. But yeah, it's people that listen to it. You got to hold them accountable and make them actually do their damn job. So that's what they're getting paid to do instead of just spewing garbage. Like if you look back, how many times they were wrong about everything, then you'd be surprised. But anyway, before I get all mad, now we can get into the political side. Joe Biden, by the way, and Kamala Harris. We'll get to her next. But Joe Biden, how many times have we heard him say President-elect Harris or President Harris, since all that? Like, a slip here and there, I get it. But even now that he's been in office for a while, President Harris keeps saying it. She keeps saying, under my administration, alongside Joe Biden, it's not your administration. It's y'all's administration. It's his administration. But how many times do they say it? That just proves everyone's point on the conservative side that's been saying this, that it really did have, nothing to do with Joe, really. I was trying to find a good way to put it. But yeah, none of this had anything to do with Joe. They just used him as the face. No, he's a moderate and he won't do all this crazy stuff that they're talking about while you're all nuts. You look how much of it has gone through. Well, the crazy progressive stuff is happening. A lot of it is by executive order. It's happening. He was just the face to get the moderates out there because he'd say it's not going to happen. Look, go down the list of everything he said he wasn't going to do. Look how many of them he's done already. I mean, they got it January 20th. Let's see, February, March. We're not even 2 full months in, and look at how much they've accomplished just by executive order, just shoving it down people's throat. But again, everyone said about it, you're just crazy. Well, it's Joe's thing. Yeah, that's why he keeps saying it to this day. President Harris, and she keeps saying, my administration, along with, Joe Biden. They're telling you exactly what it is, and people, it's just a slip. No, they're just telling you exactly what it is, and you guys are just dumb enough to think it's a slip. People have come out and said that she was the most liberal, crazy person, in the Senate, which is saying something. And now look, all this crazy progressive stuff is happening. All right, the Green New Deal's going to come one of these days, and all these, really dumb gun laws, if you look at it, which makes the criminal's life easy, but you guys keep telling yourself, it's President Biden and Vice President Harris. Yeah, he's just there to decide stuff because they knew they couldn't get a win with her because she's nuts. And then everyone's going to reject the crazy progressive ideas. At least I didn't vote for it. So, speaking of votes, second to last thing we got to get into, though, is that race in Iowa. The Dems are even talking about trying to unseat the woman who won. Who was a Republican. She won by 6 votes. Which really proves that my one vote doesn't matter thing. Well, he won by 6. So, crazy as that is, small number. But, they even went through, lost a few ballots, for problems. But she won by 6. Certified done. And they're talking about how they're going to go back and they want to go back and scrutinize everything more. Like, what happened to, like, it's certified, it's done. You don't need to go back and look at anything. Like, as I said that for forever. Now that even them talking about it now should piss off everyone that voted for them. I didn't, so I don't have to worry about it. But to go from there's nothing, when it was certified, there's nothing wrong, nothing to see here, why they want to go back and look. To see if, anything slipped by that shouldn't have. I mean, nothing was down to 6 in the presidential thing, but I mean, certified, done. You even question any of it, the certification of any states, I mean, you get called an insurrectionist and all kinds of stuff, but here they are doing this right now for a race in Iowa, so stay tuned for that. Because I think it's just going to get a whole lot dumber. But hey, told you, why do I love them? Because they're hypocrites, and they prove it all the time. And now, let's get to the last one. Which wraps up with the first thing there, second thing there, really, at the beginning about the immigration situation. Like, President of Mexico is calling him the migrant president. He's sending security forces, he's going to send them to try to slow this down because there's so many people legally entering his country to get to ours. And our media is saying nothing. Then what? There's no crisis. Well, here's a real good question. Look it up. How many people, get put under gag orders where they can't talk to anyone when something sketchy isn't happening? Where they're not allowed to talk to reporters, politicians, no one's allowed to get in and see what's actually going on. No ride-alongs from media or politicians, nothing. We're not allowed to see inside, hear nothing. What that means, there's something sketchy as hell going on. It's way worse, and they know it's worse. Which is why there's things, because they know they put people under gag orders so they can't say anything. Because if they can't say anything, then, their whole entire little bubble of everything's fine won't, erupt. Can't be blown up while they're, still sitting there floating on it. But, yeah. How bad does it have to... I want to know how bad it is, the gag orders involved. That right there, that's enough proof that it's way worse than they're letting you on. To know that it's not because we're all racist. It's because, it's bad enough that you have people under gag orders and Mexico's president is getting security forces to send to try to slow down the amazing flow of people coming through his country to get to ours. Look at how everyone else is reacting. That'll let you know what's actually going on. Don't just, take the word from all the useless mainstream media sources. So most of them are absolutely worthless and just spin. One little thing and spin it to the worst thing ever to distract you from all kinds of real, actual crazy things that are happening in the world. But I probably sound crazy just for saying that. But with that being said, enjoy your weekend. I appreciate y'all watching. Again, Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, and Spotify under the Jesse Rosinski Show. Appreciate y'all checking me out. If you get on Spotify, it's a little bit longer. There's ads I recorded and stuff. Helps me with sponsors. So I can keep doing this, keep improving, cameras, merchandise one day, all kinds of stuff. But we'll get a website going, all that. So you can follow me on there. Make sure you follow on all of them. The more follows, the more eyeballs on it, the more other people can see it, and the bigger base we can have to have better conversations and more things, and bring more people into it. So I do appreciate it. Like, share, follow, comment. Tell people about it. Tell me what you think. Follow me on Spotify and take a listen on there if you're driving somewhere and want to hear it. Or you're cooking, you don't want to have the video run to burn your phone up more. They're on Spotify. Go take a gander at those. Started doing fancier ones this week over there. But I appreciate y'all. Have a good weekend. Stay safe. Be kind to each other. Look some stuff up. And until Monday, peace.